Live from downtown Detroit, Local 4 News at 6 starts now.
What's going on at the Detroit Fire Department? A crash with a fire truck today. A crash last week where a firefighter was put on leave after hitting another driver.
Once we get the facts, then we'll respond appropriately.
And now word of payroll fraud inside the department. Did the city handle this latest issue the right way?
But why wasn't it handled earlier? I've got the tip.
Thank you so much for joining us for the news at 6 o'clock. I'm Kimberly Gill.
And I'm Damon Fernandez in for Ty Steele. Detroit Fire insiders are sounding the alarm tonight and turning to our investigative team with issues that are on their minds that could ultimately affect all of our safety. The day started with another fire truck crash this morning and ended this afternoon with a tip about someone inside the department taking part in payroll fraud. There's a lot to unpack and to uncover. Let's bring in our investigator Karen Drew with what she found out. Karen?
Demond and Kim, there is a lot here. So we should start with the most worrisome and concerning news. That fire truck crash that happened last week that involved a firefighter getting injured and a civilian getting injured. We've just confirmed that firefighter who was driving that truck failed the alcohol test. We've got a crash and a civilian's injured. Yeah. You said you were going to do a test of the driver. Yeah. Comes back and fails the alcohol test.
That's correct.
What's your reaction to that?
Oh, I'm very upset at that. However, I would say that his alcohol content came below the legal limit, but there's a zero tolerance on the Detroit Fire Department. We hold our members at a higher standard, and so any alcohol at all in your system, you will be discharged.
And look at this. This was the scene this morning. Another crash involving a fire truck on Houston and Whittier. We're still waiting to find out who's at fault on that one. Then, later today, an insider tips me off, and the commissioner confirms there has been at least 2 cases involving members of Detroit Fire getting caught defrauding the system, collecting money they did not earn. One was fired, the other still on the job tonight.
Some of the people that are bringing their concerns to me, they are concerned that there is an abuse of the system. There is fraud. What is being done right now to stop this? Because it's a problem.
So I would tell you what was done a year ago. So I brought in a payroll manager, and she's excellent, and she runs audits every payroll.
Your system's catching them, but it's not preventing them.
It will prevent for anyone in the future. Yes. It will definitely will prevent. I'm very confident.
You said you'll make a decision in the next 7 days. Will you inform us of that decision and send us a comment?
I'm quite sure you guys will hear it somehow, but yes.
But I would like to hear your comment on what the decision is and whatever your decision is.
Okay. Yeah, it's perfectly fine. Yeah.
All right, so to give you some more context on that latest payroll fraud case, I did confirm Detroit Police Internal Affairs investigated the Detroit Fire lieutenant. Their findings backed up claims that he defrauded the city for personal financial gain. A memo outlining the findings was released on June 4th. Now, as you heard the Commissioner Sims just say, he plans to take some action on the matter in the next 7 to 10 days. But again, right now, that lieutenant is on the job. Of course, we'll be staying on top of this and make sure to let you guys know exactly what they decide. Yeah. There's some people inside the department that are really mad about that.
Sure. Yeah, I know it's been a busy day for you, uncovering different things. So what do we know about that crash from this morning?
Well, we did ask a lot of questions in terms of who is responsible. I can tell you, according to the fire department, a preliminary investigation suggests that the ladder truck was actually on the way to a fire. It went through the intersection with lights and sirens on, and a vehicle hit the back of the fire trucks. However, who's at fault is unclear. Both Detroit Police and Detroit Fire are both investigating. Of course, we'll report the findings on that. And we're going to stay on top of the training for these guys because they are saying they need more training driving these trucks. Mr. Sims says, okay, fine, we'll give you more training. So we're going to find out if that's going to happen.
Okay. Thank you, Karen. All right, let's take a live look as Belleville is looking gorgeous right now. Things could take a turn, though, from serene to severe tomorrow. Brian Sherman is in for Kim Adams with a first look at the forewarned forecast. Hi, Brian.
Hi there, KG. Hi there, Damon. Good evening, everybody. Yeah, we're tracking that threat for strong to severe thunderstorms tomorrow. Because of that, we have declared a forewarned weather alert for tomorrow for 1 to possibly 2 rounds of strong to severe thunderstorms heading into our Wednesday. A beautiful, warm, and humid day outside today. Tower cam over downtown Detroit, lots of sunshine, and we're sitting at 84 degrees. But once you factor in that humidity, heat index values upper 80s to lower 90s, and I do think we'll keep that humidity into into the forecast through the rest of the night tonight. Still feeling like 90 over at Metro Airport as well as in Monroe, 90 in Lapeer as well as in Sandusky. Our heat index values. Get used to this, folks. Welcome to summer. We're going to see more of that after we get done with the storms tomorrow. We got a frontal boundary moving into the state tonight. That's going to help to pop a few thunderstorms north of Metro Detroit, but I do think most places will stay dry as we head into the overnight. 80s by 8 o'clock tonight, 70s by midnight tonight. We're only right around 70 by tomorrow morning. The severe weather topping my weather headlines, but then we turn our attention to our first summer heat wave by the end of the weekend and early next week. I'll break down what you can expect in your complete forewarned forecast coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, Brian. You know, concrete plants tend to create a lot of dust, but people who live near one such plant on Detroit's east side say it's getting out of hand. Erica Erickson's been looking into the complaints and joins us live right now. So, Erica, neighbors are asking the city to actually shut this place down, huh?
Yeah, and I'll tell you, being out here, you can't always see it, but you can smell it, you can taste it. And neighbors not only across the street from this plant, but just, I would say, about a mile away, they're upset, and they say it's not just the dust that they're sick of. You can actually smell it.
Yeah, after you stand there a while, your eyes burn.
It's a problem frustrating hundreds of neighbors on Detroit's east side and Hamtramck. And there's more than 800 signatures on this petition to prove it, says this neighbor.
The dust is visible, and it does impact, our breathing.
The petition to shut down Kronos Concrete on the corner of Gaylord and Moran. One 85-year-old neighbor who lives on Moran, who wants to remain anonymous, says plumes of dust get onto everything. And if you've got your windows open, it comes inside. And it's not just the dust. It's the heavy traffic and the noise disrupting their daily lives.
The residents who are close by want it to go away. It doesn't belong in a neighborhood.
And it's not just that noise either. Neighbors say they're also sick of the lack of general maintenance around the property. A spokesperson with the city reminding neighbors Kronos is operating legally. The area is zoned for industrial use, and the owners have a plan to minimize dust, adding that, quote, our inspectors have been on site 3 times a week and have found only minor violations, each of which was promptly corrected. We will continue to monitor the situation, and if we find any further violations, we'll take immediate appropriate action. They have a sign over there that says we don't crush concrete.
That's true. They mix it.
Acknowledging it's a legacy industrial area, these neighbors hoping to work with the city, asking perhaps the use of the land can change.
Why can't it happen for us, especially when it's our health and our quality of life that is directly impacted?
Now, we have not heard from Kronos yet. Another complaint from neighbors who plan to protest July 1st. These tarps aren't exactly working very well. Reporting live, Erica Erickson, Local 4.
Wow, a lot to unpack there. Thanks, Erica.
The mother of the Oxford school shooter is turning to the Court of Appeals in hopes of being granted bond. Late last week, an Oakland County judge ruled Jennifer Crumbly and her husband James would not get new trials. Both are currently serving sentences for manslaughter in connection to the 2021 shooting. Jennifer Crumbly has been incarcerated for 3.5 years. Now, in a new court filing, Jennifer Crumbly is asking the Michigan Court of Appeals to let her out on bond as she appeals the process. The motion reads in part, quote, granting Ms. Crumbly bond pending appeal is also consistent with the proper administration of justice. It would be grossly unfair and unjust to keep Mrs. Crumbly locked up for years while this matter proceeds slowly, likely for years, before the appellate courts. We'll continue to follow this story as we have from the very beginning.
And 2 men are in jail right now after a major drug bust in Macomb County. Take a look at all this right here. We're talking about 10 pounds of marijuana, more than a pound of magic mushrooms, 5 guns, and $23,000 in cash. Police say they found it all when they raided 2 hookah shops, one in Mount Clemens and one in Clinton Township, and a home in East Point. Now, officers say they also seized a Chevy Silverado and a Jeep Wagoneer. A 44-year-old man and a 33-year-old man were both arrested. We're waiting to hear more about the possible charges. All right, so the Oakland County Sheriff's Search and Rescue Team is celebrating a unique save.
And someone in Brandon Township called Sunday night to report a great blue heron was trapped in a marshy part of Lake Louise. The rescue team responded, bringing some of its newest members, a pair of animal control officers. They discovered the bird had fishing line wrapped multiple times around its wings with no way to free itself.
The animal control officer put a towel over the bird's head to calm it down and then examined it for injuries. They determined it would be okay on its own if they could cut it loose. Body cam footage shows us how everyone on scene worked together to make that happen.
We bring him back in the boat and take him back to shore? Or you want to try releasing here?
I would want to release him here where there's less lights and less stress.
Okay, once we release him, let's get that cut free from the tree.
Yes.
So we don't have another animal trapped in there, so let's get that out of the way.
Are you going to go right back in the water? Beautiful. Good job, Bubba. There's no sore spots, no crowding, no lacerations. He'll be great to go on his own.
Awesome.
Perfect. And he got it free. Lieutenant Brian Burwell, who was on scene, speculates this was most likely a case of swan fishing. Their cast got stuck in a tree branch and they just couldn't reach it to pull it loose.